Hi, this is Brandon with Moonlit Fly Fishing. I want to welcome you to fly tying night tonight. Tonight we're going to be tying up for you a parachute ant pattern that is very effective. We learned about this pattern kind of through Davey McPhail. It's a great pattern, very effective, and we've enjoyed it. We hope you enjoy it as well, tying it and fishing it. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. As we start, we're going to invite you to make sure you like your favorite videos. Hopefully this is one of them. Make sure you leave us a comment. We love to interact with you on these comments and discuss things back and forth. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive future notification. These things really help us out in beating the algorithm and letting them know that we have quality content that people want to see. We're striving very hard to put out good quality content on a regular basis, and we hope you find enjoyment and value in that. And if you do, make sure you do those things. Comment, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive future notifications. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get ready to put the hook in the vise. We're going to be using the ML 062 in a size 16 today. This is a great hook. Really love it for this pattern and some emerger patterns as well. Today we're tying this on the new Norvise Rotary Vise. Okay, excuse my cough there. I'm using Semper Fly's Classic Wax 8/0 in the rust brown. It's important that you use the 8 or 6/0 for this pattern. I'm going to start this roughly about 2/3 of the way up that hook. I'm just going to lay a nice good thread base, and a good thread base is the foundation to every fly. It's important that we create a nice good thread base. Where this hook is a little bit curved, that bend starts a little earlier. You start down at just a small bit. I'm going to go just a little bit further down this hook bend though. Okay, there we go. For the body on this, I'm using Semper Fly's Perfect Quills. This is a size medium for the size 16s. I'm just going to tear one of those strips out. Now I'm just going to tie this in. Now there's a sticky part to this, and on the sticky part the black side's on the bottom. So I'm going to tie that in with the black on the bottom and the sticky part there. Now I'm just going to create a little bit of a taper and bulge to this ant here with my thread. So I'm going to bob back and forth. I want that bulb to come roughly to about where that hook point is right there with my thread. So I'm going to take and build just a little bit more bulge right there. I'll be able to accentuate that in my resin. Now I've got that done. I'm going to trim this out. Okay. Now I'm going to half hitch this here. I'm going to set my thread over on my bobbin rest here so it's out of the way. Now I'm going to take this Perfect Quill. I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to pull it somewhat tight, but not too tight. Then I'm going to wrap this, and I want to keep it nice and tight against that thread. I'm using that black edge to create my taper and wrap that all the way up there. Okay, you can see I've now got that quill body effect to this pattern. I'm just going to tie that off. Secure it in. I'm going to pull that just a little bit as I clip it. That's going to kind of pull that piece back in so that it's a cleaner wrap there. Now I'm just going to half hitch again. Okay, now I did go a little bit further up on here, but that's okay. I want this body part to be roughly up to that hook point. I went forward a little more than I normally do, but I'm going to hide that when I tie in my post and everything else, so that's not a big deal. For the resin on this, I'm using Semper Fly's no-tack resin. Okay, I've taken and putting it in a little cup here like this. I'm going to take my bodkin and I'm just going to put a little bit of resin on that bodkin there, you can see. And I'm just going to smooth that out. And I'm going to kind of place that resin right there where I want that bulge to kind of bulge out. Okay, you can see I accentuated that just a slight bit there. Now I'm just going to take and cure that up. Now you can see I was kind of rotating that resin, and that just kind of helps even and level that out some. Okay. No tack, it's not sticky. I like this resin because it's more durable. A lot of resins cure so hard that they just crack really fast and instantaneous. This resin's going to last longer and just a real high quality resin. Okay, so now I'm just going to take and tie my post in. My post I'm using is Semper Fly poly yarn. This is their cream color. You can use any color you want. So I'm going to wrap this back to that 2/3 point. I'm going to tie that in. And you can see I've got that. I moved it forward just a smidge. If I lift my thread, I can kind of maneuver that back a little bit. Now I'm going to wrap my post, create my post for my hackle and my parachute. So I'm just going to wrap this up the post now. Ants are an extremely important food source to trout and fish in high mountain streams, so make sure you carry a bunch of these. Now I've got a Coachman grizzly, a Coachman dyed brown grizzly. Love this hackle. So I'm going to take And you can see I've stripped this off just a little, you know, to bear stand for a tie-in point. I'm going to strip this piece that's going to wrap against the hackle stem just a little bit so I get a nice quarter turn. Now I'm just going to kind of tie this in. I want the shiny side to be facing me, so when I wrap it, the shiny side's down, the fibers are kind of pointing up a little bit. That's just the way I like it. Keeps a cleaner fly. So I'm going to stand this up. I'm going to wrap a couple wraps around it, making sure rotate it on me. Tie that back in. You see, I'm just going to keep that hackle standing up. Wrap that up the top. I'm going to trim that parachute just a little bit there. There we go. Now we're cleaned up on that. We're secured in. Dubbing on this, I'm going to use Semper Fly's Rust in the Kapok dubbing. It's a super fine dubbing, so I'm not going to take much. I want this to be small. The Kapok is a great dubbing to use on a fly, especially like this. This dubbing is going to float 30% or 30 times its body weight. So with this dubbing and my parachute, it's going to help float this fly really well. So now I'm going to take and utilize my rotary feature, and I'm just going to create my thorax and head here on this ant. Got that done. Now I'm going to take and wrap this hackle. And I've got a few hackle fibers that are kind of being unruly, but that's alright. Didn't quite get it stripped the way I needed to. So we'll just do a couple wraps down that stem. Now I'm just going to secure that hackle fiber in. Now I'm going to take some Loctite super glue with this little brush. Just going to put a little bit of glue on that thread. I'm going to come and finish securing in that hackle fiber going over the top. I pull it underneath and under the hackle stem that last time. I'm trying to pull any of those hackle fibers up out of the way. This is going to make sure I lock nice and secure that hackle stem. Then I just trim that out now that I've got that glue on there. Trim my hackle stem out. Now I'm just going to trim my post. It's a little longer than I normally do. I'm gonna have to sharpen those scissors. Post is all what feels good to you. You can see I've got this little hackle fiber here that's not exactly flush. I can trim that out. Have a nice clean body profile on the underside and fly. Okay, this is the parachute ant. It's a quill body ant. It's going to that stinger sit just down in that water column and float really nice and high. So this is one of our favorite ant patterns. Ants are effective, highly important food source to your fish. So make sure you have an abundance of these in your box. Change up colors that you want to tie. When it comes to black, you're going to be better off using a black thread with a like silver, bright silver wire for the ribbing instead of using the quill body, just because the black in the perfect quill is not going to work as well, or find a black dyed quill. But I like the perfect quills. They're nice and easy, and I can do a variety of colors with the clear ones. So make sure you leave us a comment, like the video, hit the subscribe and bell to receive future notifications, and we look forward to tying with you again next week. Happy fishing.